People often assume Disneyland in California and Walt Disney World in Florida are interchangeable vacations, just located on different coasts. They aren't. Choosing between them requires a very strategic decision about the pace and style of the trip you want to take. On one hand, you have an intimate, walk-heavy 3-day getaway. On the other, you have a sprawling 7-day endurance test. This diagram shows why the experiences are different. Disneyland sits on 500 acres. You can walk across it. Walt Disney World covers 40 square miles, roughly the size of San Francisco. Because of that scale, California houses 2 theme parks, while Florida contains 4. That massive Florida footprint creates a mandatory transit tax on your time. You can't just walk to your next ride. You have to navigate a constant web of buses, boats, and monorails to get anywhere. Committing to Florida means trading the simplicity of a walkable park for the complexity of navigating a massive logistical grid. This difference in size is rooted in how and when each park was built, which dictates the atmosphere of your entire trip. Disneyland opened in 1955. It's the only theme park Walt Disney actually lived in and personally managed. He walked these specific streets. The California park retains those original fingerprints. The pathways are narrow, the lands are packed tightly together, and the entire experience feels personal and handcrafted. Walt Disney World didn't open until 1971. Walt conceptualized the Florida project, but he died 5 years before it was completed. Florida was designed as the corrected version of California. Disney bought enough land to build a massive buffer, ensuring the outside world could never encroach on the property. California gives you a nostalgic connection to the creator. Florida delivers the grand-scale, perfected industrial vision of the modern Disney company. Both coasts feature a central castle park, Disneyland Park in California and Magic Kingdom in Florida. They share ride names like Pirates of the Caribbean and Space Mountain, but the actual track layouts and show scenes differ significantly. California wins on what we call ride density. Because Disneyland is so compact, they've packed more attractions into their small footprint than Florida has in its much larger Magic Kingdom. You also get major exclusives out west. Classics like the Matterhorn bobsleds and Mr. Toad's Wild Ride only exist in California. Florida counters with scale. The secondary parks at Walt Disney World house massive, cutting-edge mega attractions that simply wouldn't fit in Anaheim. If you want to ride Avatar, Flight of Passage, Guardians of the Galaxy, or Tron, you have to go to Orlando. Because these rides are spread across 4 different properties, experiencing them requires at least a 5-day commitment just to cover the distances between parks. California is the right choice if you want to hit a high volume of rides in a short time. Florida is for travelers who want to see massive, modern technological spectacles. Then there is the psychological difference, driven by what frequent visitors call the Disney bubble.
Florida is completely isolated from the outside world. Once you cross onto Walt Disney World property, you don't see another highway or fast food sign for a week. They built their own transit systems and monorails that run directly through your hotel lobby to keep you fully immersed. Disneyland is woven right into the city streets of Anaheim. Step out of the park, and you are immediately looking at crosswalks and strip malls. This creates a direct trade-off. Living inside the Florida bubble is highly immersive, but it means you will spend 20 to 40 minutes commuting on buses just to get from your hotel room to the park gates. In California, that lack of a bubble becomes an advantage. You can book a cheaper, non-Disney hotel across the street and walk to the security checkpoint in under 10 minutes. Florida offers total escapism, but it taxes your time and energy. California sacrifices that total immersion to give you logistical freedom. These logistical differences naturally dictate the budget. You are looking at 2 entirely different price tags. This matrix shows the baseline costs. For a family of 4 doing a 3-day vacation at Disneyland, core expenses land between $2,500 and $3,400. But a standard 5-day trip to Walt Disney World costs between $4,000 and $5,000, bare minimum. The Florida trip costs more because the geography forces your hand. You have to buy more hotel nights and more park tickets just to see all 4 gates. On top of that, Florida's massive crowds often require additional survival spending on line-skipping systems like Genie Plus, just to make the trip manageable. Disneyland serves as a more budget-conscious entry point. Walt Disney World is a premium destination that demands a significantly higher upfront investment.
Let's map this out to your specific situation. This flowchart outlines the profiles. If you live on the West Coast, have young toddlers, or only have a 3-day weekend, choose Disneyland. If you're an East Coast traveler wanting the fully immersive resort experience for 4 to 7 days, choose Walt Disney World. The hard rule for flight return on investment is this: if you have to pay for airfare anyway, and you live east of the Mississippi, the sheer variety of the Florida parks justifies the cost of the plane tickets. But know what you are signing up for. Choosing Florida is a high-stakes financial decision. You have to treat it with professional-level planning, or else you will waste your budget standing in lines. California runs on charm. Florida runs on strategy. And having a strategy is the only difference between a magical trip and an exhausting one. If you've decided to tackle the Florida showdown, we built the exact tool you need.
The Walt Disney World First Timers Complete Planning Guide is a 60-page playbook with the itineraries and budget breakdowns required to navigate the 40-square-mile resort. It's $37 at mydisneybrain.com and will save you far more than that. Get the guide, build your strategy, and enjoy the parks.